Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu Onaranel, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Another Coffee O'Clock. This is interesting. I have two guests, right? Myrna King and Brian. Myrna and Brian, they are mother and son. They are the co-founder of A Life Designed company. Myrna is executive coach and co-founder of A Life Designed, and Brian is also another co-founder of A Life Designed. We will talk more about what they do, but I'm so excited just to welcome them. Welcome. How are you both? Can we do cheers?
Oh, yes. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Hello. Who would you like to start?
Oh, I'll introduce that Brian is in Da Nang, Vietnam right now.
Mm-hmm.
A digital nomad, and he's wandering around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Austin, Texas. And then are you in Hungary? Is that where you are?
I am in Hungary, yes. Yes, we are all over the world.
Yes, well, and that's part
Yes.
of our goal of A Life Designed is to have a platform to help people around the world. And we have coaches in different countries. And Brian has so far, you want to say, Brian, where you traveled as a digital nomad?
Yeah, I went to Thailand, I went to India, then I did Sri Lanka, and now I'm in Vietnam. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Can you share a little bit more of what you are doing right now in Vietnam?
Well, I'm just living here. I'm just enjoying life and working on A Life Designed with my mom here. And we're just building a positive space where people can work on all aspects of their lives in a supportive community. And we're assembling a team of coaches to help people in different areas of their lives. So that basically you have one community where you can kind of work on many different things, and we can share what works with each other and kind of just support each other along the way.
That's awesome. It sounds like a dream job. Job that doesn't seem like a job, and you're helping people. That's also in a different way. That's what I do too. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker. I love helping people. So I think there is nothing more satisfied as a job in the world to see other people shine, other people become their best version. I am excited to delve into your work, but before everything, like I always do, I want to ask the deepest question. Any of you who wants to answer, you can just start talking. That's how we can roll, I guess, in this episode. So I am curious, how did it all start? Like, why did you start doing what you do today? Myrna.
Sure. Well, I'll start. I've been an executive and personal coach for a long time, a 30-year meditation teacher, an entrepreneur for 25 years. And so kind of business and personal is, back and forth for me in terms of helping people. But Brian was in Thailand, and he's become a master of something called the Sedona Method, and also a number of manifestation techniques that he was just applying to himself in his life with his friends. And I was teasing him. I said, was it when you were riding an elephant in Thailand or feeding monkeys on the beach that you had this idea of a life designed? And he said, why don't we create this global platform? Why don't we kind of help as the world is awakening and people are making new choices about how to live their best life? And why don't we work together to curate wonderful coaches to help people do just that? So it was Brian's idea, and about a year ago, and it's been active and functional for 3 or 4 months now. Brian, do you comment?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think people need these types of communities. I feel like there isn't enough of this out there, like just positive online communities where people can just work on improving themselves in a supportive space. So I just really felt like this was needed. And I think it's important to get one space where people can work on different aspects of their lives, and we're getting different coaches, and it kind of adds more value if you can work with multiple different coaches, and it creates a larger support network for people. So they have multiple people they can reach out to if they're going through something after they've worked with multiple coaches on our team. So I just feel like this is something that the world needs.
Absolutely. The world needs, and there are a couple of these platforms out there, and I am curious, what is something that you both do? I mean, of course, you're a mother and son, that's already unique, but I'm curious how you are working with people. Like, how did you create this global community, and how do you reach out to people?
Yeah, so basically we just created the platform online, built the website. We started creating a video library of different coaches kind of just speaking on different topics that are relevant to people's lives. We want to touch on everything that's really important going on in the world and in people's lives today. So we've started creating a video library, and then we have forums where people can chat and discuss what they're working on, like if there's any issues that are affecting them, and other people can, suggest things to help. And if they need more one-on-one mentoring, they can, reach out to coaches. But we basically just started building it, that way. I don't know what you want to add into that, Mom.
Yeah, we have an alchemical hypnotherapist who was raised in Mexico but lives now in California, and he helps people with sleep, and he helps people shift their habits with the hypnosis process. And then we have regular everyday things, a career coach who's expert at helping you find a new job. And so because we still live in a 3D world where you have to have a paycheck to pay your bills, or, bill clients to pay your bills. And so as much as the world is changing, it's also somewhat staying the same. So we have those same considerations. And we're working with a shaman in England who can help you maintain a sacred space in your daily life. And I do things like executive coaching, how to have clear business communication, as well as Brian and I have been meditators for more than 30 years, and he did a deep dive in philosophy. And so we bring some of those components to, I have a short video about permissions. Who've you given permission to do things in your life? And then how you might revoke those permissions or modify them. And I guess the basic tenet comes from a quote from Sadhguru, who Brian studied with in Coimbatore in India. And he said, "You're not a passenger in your life, you're the driver." And so we show people how to drive their lives, take that steering wheel, go where you want to go. So
Wow, that's very powerful. And you said 30 years you both have been meditating. That is just awesome. We need more people like you in the world. Those people are just in that hamster wheel, just trying to catch the next thing, but not looking inward. So that's what we need to do more. I have been meditating only since 2018, so I'm a newbie.
very good.
I'm a new. I enjoy a lot. It was hard for me to learn, but when I learned, and now I can see the difference. When I don't meditate, I see a huge difference in my life, both personal and professional. So people cannot understand unless they do it. They try
Yes.
to do it.
Yes.
So
It's exciting to learn that you're a meditator, because it does help people. And there are so many different kinds of meditation. And we have a number of different ways to begin meditating or try something new on the platform. But it's what works for you. That's the key. What works for you.
Yes, absolutely. You touched a little bit, and I like to dive a little bit more because you see me like I have the joy necklace. My company name is Joy, and I'm always high energy, energetic wise. So, but I wasn't always this way. I was super introvert. I couldn't even raise my hand. I couldn't speak in front of people. This was like 11, 12 years ago. And I had some moments that helped me to change. And I am curious, what was your milestone, or what was the life event? Myrna, Brian, you both, I want to hear from both of you this question. What was the day or moment you remember you decided to do this? Because the work you do is amazing, and at the same time it takes a lot of courage and life event for you to make that decision. So I'm curious to learn that.
Well, Brian posed a question in Thailand, and then I'll let him answer for himself. And he said, so Mom, I know you love coaching, but what is your retirement plan? And I said, oh my goodness, son, really? And I said, I don't know why I would quit doing what I'm doing. And he said, well, maybe we should put you on a bigger platform so that you can help people online and offer one-to-many instead of just the one-on-one. And I said, I've been thinking about that. And he said, the world needs this coaching. And I have a contribution too around the Sedona Method and meditation, manifestation, philosophy. And so maybe we should think about the 10-year plan of how you and I can make a difference. And you can look at retirement somehow. So he was coaching his mom about what's in the future for you.
I love it.
Go ahead, Brian. What was your thought? Because you dreamed this up while in Thailand.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would say as the deciding moment, the specific moment that made me do this, but maybe just over time, I just started to realize that something like this is needed. I think more communities like this are needed. I just think there's not enough really positive spaces that are kind of filling this need. I feel like the education system doesn't teach people enough of what they really need to know. And, you know, for some people, like going to church or religion isn't really filling that need as much as it used to be. It's nothing wrong with the religion. It's fine to be that way. But I just feel like there's this gap where we need more positive spaces that like basically anyone could participate in, where they don't necessarily have to be a certain religion, or they don't necessarily have to come from a certain background, or you don't necessarily have to get accepted into a certain school, or like it's just anyone can join in and we can all learn and grow.
That's awesome. I am curious what happened in Thailand, but you don't remember. I'm sure you had a moment where you just felt this calling, because you both have been meditating, so it's easy for you to receive those signals, signs, and the energy. So it's amazing that you both started this, and I love that saying, son coached mom, and sometimes it goes the other way, sometimes we never know what we learn from who. Sometimes our closest people can be our best mentors, coaches, and sometimes a completely stranger. You already touched about your company, A Life Designed, which is an awesome name. I mean, when somebody hear that name, probably they don't have to think about what is that, unless they're not like, if they're a very, very strange person to coaching business, they would think maybe it's a home design or stuff.
Interior design.
But if you're similar to coaching space, then you will understand, wow, this is like designing my life. So how did you start building that community? I assume you reached out people, or they reached out to you and you started partnering people all around the world.
I have to blame Brian again, because he found the Female Entrepreneur Association, FEA, based in London. And she's very attuned to affirmations and manifestation and, you know, make your dream of your life come true, which we aligned with immediately. And Carrie Green is her name, the founder of that. And so I joined her accelerator, and we built on her platform. It's called FEA Create. And so, you know, there were templates to build the website, and there were systems to do the emails, and that made it easy for me. As a boomer, technology is sometimes an area of challenge, not for Brian, but for me. And so again, he said, why don't we try this, you know, FEA Create system? I think it vibes with both of us. And so that's what we're on today. And yeah, and I think I found about half the coaches, and Brian has sourced about half the coaches, and we continue to add new coaches every month that have different areas of expertise. But Brian, do you want to talk about the economy of coaching? Because as he's lived in other countries, he can see that the monthly cash flow of living in Thailand or Vietnam or India is different than the US. And he wanted people all over the world to be able to access coaching. And they may not have $1,000 to work with a coach for a month, or $3,000 for a coaching package, which is not that uncommon here in the US, but that takes coaching out of reach for so many. And so he wanted to revolutionize that. Do you want to talk about that, Brian?
Yeah, so basically with the monthly membership fee, which is very small, it's very reasonable. People can get access to the video library and then chatting in the forums, and you can get a lot just out of that. If you're in sort of a do-it-yourself mode and you can't afford coaching. But then we've also brought in coaches who can do one-off sessions that are pretty reasonable when they're working through a life designed. And it's just making coaching more affordable. And then we're also putting together team coaching packages where you can do a package of working with 3 or 4 different coaches and kind of get 1 or 2 sessions working on different areas of your life. And that gives you a lot of different things you can apply to your life for a while. And then you can continue to stay on track by staying a part of the community. And then you can still reach out for another coaching session here and there when you feel like you need one. So
that explains how you approach like this. The world needs this. The world needs exactly what you just talked about, because in the US or in England, Europe, there are packages up in the sky, but not everybody can afford it, or the economy, the buying is not the same every country. And I had that challenge myself. I lived in the US for 4 years, so my packages are based on US dollars. And I didn't realize until I found a person who wanted to work with me, and I set the dollar, like my US package, to him, and he was like, wow. And it's not the same in Hungary. Like right now, 1.5 years I'm living in Hungary. So the package I told to that person, I realized after I said it, I'm like, okay, I didn't look through the economy here. So I put myself in a very top, and it didn't align with my purpose. So I realized it after. So what you say, what you point on is so important. I think every coaches in the world needs to pay attention to this. Like you can have a package, but then you can change it, shift it into the environment you're in. If you're willing to, you don't have to, but I think we need to do this as a coach. We are swearing to help people like doctors.
It's a
We have
mission. It's a mission.
it's a mission. So that's why I said it didn't align with my purpose, because I set myself aside and couldn't help that person. So that's amazing that you are doing this. And after that, like this was a couple months ago, after that I learned my lesson. But what you're saying is important. I want to especially call all the coaches and entrepreneurs out there, and speakers too. Speaking fee is another topic, but I think we need to consider why we do, and then how we can shift it, adjust it into the environment or the people who need that. I think that's a very good point. But my question for you, Brian, is how did you start traveling? How did you decide traveling? Tell me more about it. Like, why are you traveling and when did you start this?
I started about 2 years ago, and I was working a blue collar job. I was actually working as a tow truck driver, and I just saved up a bunch of money, and I don't know, I was just getting tired of being in the US. I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to go to Asia. The thing that's cool about Southeast Asia is there's a bunch of countries all next to each other, which are cool and they're very affordable. And there's, you can kind of just hop between a bunch of different countries very affordably. So it's a good place to go. And I just headed out to Thailand, and then I wanted to do India. I did Sri Lanka right off the southern coast of India, and then I just got to Vietnam like little over 2 weeks ago, and I really like Vietnam. I'll probably stay here for a while.
Awesome.
Well, I asked him the question. I said, "You're moving 9,000 miles away. Is it something I said? You know, what's happening? You're going to move 9,000 miles away, and you may or may not come home, depending on how you like traveling the world." And but you know what's interesting is I'm a lark, as they say in Texas. I'm up in the morning with the birds. He's a night owl, and so currently we're 12 hours apart. So at the same time, my morning is his evening, and it's perfect for us to work together. So I don't know, sometimes you think God has a plan, but being on the other side of the world with technology like Zoom and Messenger and WhatsApp, you know, we're as connected now as we were when he lived in Austin. So
yes, thanks to the digital world, it is saving our life. And Brian, I want to congratulate you specifically because it isn't easy what you did. Leaving your safe job and going to a different part of the world. I mean, you lived in the US and you can now tell it's a completely different world, right? Other side. Different worlds. I'm originally from Turkey, and when I moved to the United States, it was a similar story with you, Brian. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I was a human resources specialist and I saved my money for 3 years, and then I just quit my job and moved to the United States without knowing anyone, without speaking the language, without having a job, just to explore, find myself, learn more about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and become a better coach. Went through Tony Robbins, Brandon Bouchard, lots of amazing life-changing events. And I just so happy. I'm so happy that I did that. And I can see how it lifts you up as well to following your soul. And it's just amazing how much you can learn from another culture. It was a complete different world for me as well, but I learned a lot. I had hard times. I'm sure you do sometimes too, but it is a different perspective. I think that's why you had that moment of creating this platform that can welcome everybody, because you are seeing other people. Now you can be an empathetic for those and understand that, offer something. So it's amazing. So both of you, what you do is amazing. And Myrna, to your point, God has a plan always. I'm an early bird too. So like it works perfectly when I travel to do work. Like I work with people in the US mostly, and it just works. God helps and energy helps. What is next? Like I'm curious. Are you planning to do live events or have you done one? Like what are your plans? I'm curious.
Yeah, we have some plans for live events in the fourth quarter, and really it's just the stepping stones of, okay, we built this and it worked. Okay, we built this and it worked. So, we're just getting the engine going, but I want to launch free speed coaching. And so that's an opportunity where 4 or 5 of our coaches will be on a Zoom. And then we rotate 15 minutes with each coach, and you can ask a question and work on something. And I did that here in Austin. We would go into a cafe and put 4 or 5 coaches together and just invite people. Does anybody want to be coached? And to this day, coaching, I think, as you know, is like 25 years old as a profession. But there's a lot of the population that says, what's coaching? I hear about it, but what is it? And why would people do it, let alone pay money for it? And so they do 15 minutes with a coach, and then another coach, and the light bulb goes on. Aha. This in 15 minutes, she told me how to deal with my boss that's giving me a hard time. And then this other one told me why my budgeting is not working. And then this other one, we bring this expertise in this laser sort of short-term format. So we'll do live event coaching and promote it on Facebook and give more and more people around the world to have a tasting sample of coaching. And then they can access that on the platform if they decide that they want to try it. The first 30 days is free, so people can poke around and see if they like it. But our first free event will be speed coaching, like speed dating. But you try different coaches and you get a feeling for what coaching can really do for you.
That is amazing. I like that idea. I was gonna say speed dating and you said it. It's great. Yeah, most people unfortunately don't know what coaching is, and most people confuse it with, they compare with therapy, which is a completely different scenario. So it's very important to analyze it and show people what it really is, what it isn't. Awesome. So what is, like, I'm curious, and my audience probably are or will be when they watch or listen to this episode. If they want to check it out or work with you, how they can find you?
So alifedesign.org, www.alifedesign.org. And for your viewers, we have a special offer because we know it's a global audience as well. So our normal fee is the first 30 days is free, and then it's $28 a month. But for your audience, we're offering a 50% discount forever. We call it, 14 forever. So $14 a month, which is real money in some places. And so we want to give as many people access as possible. So they can sign up for free and see it for 30 days. Day 31, if they're still on board, they'll pay $14 to continue, but they'll find a positive community. They'll find coaches interacting with them. They'll find new videos every month on different topics. So one of our new coaches helps you write affirmations and then pairs it with a song. So you sing your affirmations. We just have so many novel coaches that help people move the needle in their lives. And as you know, we all get kind of high when we're done with a coaching client. We're like, oh my gosh, we did so much good work today. It feels so good to do this work, and we're delighted to help as many people as possible.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, it's the best job without feeling like it's a job. And thank you so much for the offer, first of all. I like the saying too, 14 forever. People, you might want to take advantage of this because it's very affordable. And Brian, what do you want to say? What do you want to add?
Yeah, I agree with what my mom was saying here. And yeah, I think people can get a ton out of it, and we're adding more content, more coaches all the time. One of the things that I always tell people is just keep an open mind and try new things. Try working with a new coach because you never know what you're going to get out of it. Sometimes something that you would have never thought would work for you actually is huge. Like it actually does a lot for you. And you're like, wow, that was a big change. That was really good. So that's why we're creating this collection of coaches, because each one can hit different angles of our lives and things we need to improve and work on. You never know what one or two coaching sessions can do for you. Working with different coaches, sometimes it can be a huge change in a very short period of time. So we're basically giving people that opportunity to experience that.
That is awesome. I will make sure to add all the links you shared with me for people to reach out to you. And I will definitely be one of your members because I'm curious to learn from others. I have one more last question. I always ask my guests after they share their information. I ask one sentence to leave our audience with. What would you say, Myrna, and then Brian?
I would say there's more possible in your life than you realize. More is possible than you realize. And so if you give yourself permission to try, you'll be surprised about the good outcomes. More is possible than you realize.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say just stay open-minded to trying new things, learning new things, and just seeing where it takes you. I think that can do so much for people. They stay in that mindset.
Love it. Thank you. And I will say, go check it out at lifedesign.org and you will find amazing content, I'm sure. Thank you so much, both of you. I enjoyed chatting with you and sharing your amazing work and story with my audience. And I hope everybody...
Thank you for the work that you're doing. You're doing tremendous work too, helping inspire people that, yes, they can get their message out there. So congratulations on your work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a beautiful
Thank you very much.
day. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.